Welcome to another episode of the Dog Mind Gears podcast. Today we will talk about the stray dog that overnight transformed into a movie star.
Yeah, it really is just such an unbelievable story.
It is. I mean, imagine millions of dollars of camera equipment, a super strict shooting schedule, and, a completely panicked crew, and they all just grind to an absolute halt.
Right, and not because of like a diva actor demanding a bigger trailer or anything.
Exactly, or some sudden thunderstorm. It was literally because of a hungry, nameless street dog just looking for a scrap of bread.
It's wild to think about.
So today's deep dive is it's an exploration of how that chance encounter on a sleepy village street did so much more than just create a cinematic sensation.
Yeah, it really did.
We're looking at the mechanics of how one single animal fundamentally re-engineered an entire community's moral compass.
And it's a phenomenal case study. We are pulling from two core sources today for this deep dive. There's a wonderfully detailed analytical piece by Simon Tracy in the award-winning Dogzilla magazine.
Yeah.
And also some great supplemental reporting from Doggy Delight.
Awesome sources. And, what's so compelling here is that this isn't just some heartwarming fairy tale.
No, not at all. It operates on a much deeper sociological level. I mean, you have the immediate visceral story of a stray rising to fame, sure.
Right, the Hollywood stuff.
Exactly. But beneath that, you have a masterclass in how fleeting emotional responses can actually be converted into permanent infrastructural change within a community.
Which is so rare. So if you look at the notes from Dogzilla magazine, they describe Sparky's original environment, just to give us a baseline.
Yeah, set the scene a bit.
So for you listening, picture a quaint, slow-paced village. Sparky was living this very modest existence, just, scavenging for scraps, maybe getting occasional friendly pats from people walking by on the cobblestone streets.
He was essentially invisible, right? Like in the grand scheme of things.
Totally invisible. He was just part of the background noise of village life. Just a dog navigating a daily survival routine.
And understanding that survival routine is actually critical to understanding what happens next.
How so?
Well, a street dog like Sparky, he doesn't have the luxury of just zoning out. Their survival depends entirely on their ability to read the environment.
Ah, right, like reading human intentions.
Exactly, like, are you going to chase me away, or are you going to drop a piece of cheese? They develop this hyper-awareness of micro-expressions and body language.
Which is so fascinating.
Yeah.
And I guess that brings us to the inciting incident, because one day, a massive film production just rolls into this quiet village.
And talk about a shock to the system.
Right. To a street dog, a film set isn't, Hollywood glamour. It's essentially a high-stakes construction site.
Oh, absolutely.
There are these massive, blinding lights, heavy cables dragging everywhere, and hundreds of unfamiliar faces rushing around with walkie-talkies, just shouting directions.
Yeah.
For a dog, I mean, imagine how disorienting that must be. It's pure sensory overload.
For a stray animal, it's practically an alien planet. Yet Sparky, driven by what the sources basically describe as pure curiosity, he just wanders right into the middle of this bustling environment.
Just casually strolls in.
Yeah, and the crew's immediate reaction is, well, it's exactly what you would expect from professionals on a tight schedule.
Right, panic.
Total panic. They scramble to shoo him away. I mean, they have a budget, they're losing daylight, and an unpredictable street dog is just a massive logistical and physical liability.
But he didn't run away. The sources note that his undeniable charm somehow just diffused all that tension.
He wasn't aggressive or chaotic at all.
Exactly. And then we get this pivotal moment of serendipity. Sparky locks eyes with the leading actor.
Oh, this is the best part.
It really is. The actor recognizes something unique, stops what he is doing, and just kneels down to offer a gentle pat. And the simple act of kindness instantly calms the nervous stray.
It's a fascinating display of nonverbal communication, actually.
Really. Break that down for us.
So the actor essentially lowered his physical profile, right? He offered a gesture of submissive goodwill. And that immediately signaled to Sparky that this super chaotic environment wasn't actually a threat.
Wow. But, okay, I have to challenge the logistics of what happens next.
Yeah.
Because it's a high-stress film set.
Oh, for sure.
Millions of dollars are on the line. Every minute of delayed production costs thousands of dollars. Why did the director just say, oh, that's a sweet moment, now please call animal control so we can shoot the scene?
Right, like a normal person would.
Yeah. I mean, how does a director, legally and financially, ensure an unpredictable street animal for a multi-million-dollar shoot instead of just, I don't know, bringing in a trained Hollywood stunt dog?
Well, it's a logistical nightmare. You're absolutely right. If we look closely at Simon Tracy's piece, He notes the mild skepticism from the crew.
Mild skepticism.
Yeah.
That sounds like an understatement.
Oh, it is. In industry terms, mild skepticism means the line producers and the assistant directors were probably having sheer panic attacks.
I bet.
But this is where the director's specific creative vision overrides the financial anxiety. The director was watching this genuine, unscripted bond form between his leading actor and this street dog.
You saw the magic happening in real time.
Exactly. He saw Sparky's natural charisma. He recognized that, you can train a dog to do a backflip, but you cannot train a dog to manufacture genuine, soulful affection.
Wow, that is such a good point.
So the director calculated that the risk of production delays was worth the payoff of capturing that raw, authentic connection on film.
But still, it is a colossal gamble. I mean, you are banking the emotional core of your film on an animal that was literally digging through a trash can that very morning.
Yeah, it sounds crazy when you put it like that.
So the director wins the argument with the producers, but the cameras still have to roll.
Mm.
And a dog that can sit nicely for a piece of bread doesn't automatically know how to hit a T-mark on a soundstage while a camera crane swoops over his head.
Exactly. And this is where we have to examine the actual mechanics of Sparky's performance. Because film industry professionals were utterly astounded by him.
How did he do it?
Well, usually you need highly trained animals, handlers with clickers, hidden treats, and, months of preparation just to get a dog to walk from point A to point B without looking directly at the camera.
Right, it's a huge process.
But Sparky just walked in and did it.
How, though? I mean, the articles say he intuitively understood his role and moved with grace, but what is the actual mechanism there?
Right, it's not magic.
Exactly. To thrive in that environment, it's less like someone accidentally walking onto a Broadway stage while looking for the bathroom and getting the lead role, and more like an elite poker player walking into a chaotic casino.
Oh, I like that analogy.
He just knew exactly how to read the tells of everyone in the room.
That is actually a perfect analogy for what behavioral experts call nonverbal emotional mirroring.
Nonverbal emotional mirroring.
Yeah. Sparky wasn't hitting marks because he read the script, right? He was hitting marks because his street survival instincts made him hyper-attuned to human eye lines and body weight shifts.
Oh, wow.
So when the lead actor moved with intention to a specific spot on the floor, Sparky naturally followed the visual and physical cues.
Because that was his safe person?
Exactly. He stayed in the scene because his entire psychological framework was built on staying close to the human who had established a bond of trust and safety with him.
That makes so much sense. So the director isn't capturing a trained trick. He is capturing a real-time survival and bonding instinct.
Yes.
The Doggy Delight article specifically highlights his soulful eyes. They write that he used his eyes to convey deep feelings that resonated profoundly with viewers.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't just a dog barking on command. It was a dog actively communicating with his scene partners.
And that level of active communication relies heavily on eye contact, which is actually something many trained dogs struggle with.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, trained dogs often look off camera at their handlers for the next cue, but Sparky was looking directly at the actors.
Oh, because he's actually engaging with them, not waiting for a treat.
Right. And that raw emotion translates beautifully through a camera lens. The director managed to capture that perfectly because he didn't try to over-direct the dog. He just let the cameras roll, while Sparky reacted naturally to the human emotion in the room.
That is just incredible. And actually, that brings up a behind-the-scenes detail that I found absolutely mind-blowing.
The off-camera stuff?
Yes. Sparky didn't just act when the camera was on. The Dogazilla article points out that he made a habit of comforting nervous actors before their scenes.
He really did.
He served as this consistent, calming presence on set.
This touches on the fascinating canine ability to detect human anxiety. Dogs have highly sensitive olfactory receptors that can actually smell the chemical changes in human sweat when we are stressed.
Wait, they can smell our stress.
Yeah, specifically the release of cortisol. Combine that with Sparky's ability to read tense body language, and you have a dog that knows exactly when someone is anxious.
So you have these seasoned professional actors who are perhaps stressing over a difficult, emotionally draining scene. Their cortisol levels are spiking, and this sweet stray just wanders over and leans his weight against their leg.
Precisely. It's called deep pressure therapy, and it completely changed the atmosphere on set.
I can imagine.
By grounding the actors, Sparky fostered an environment filled with genuine emotion and unanticipated depth. The actors weren't just performing opposite a prop, They were interacting with a deeply empathetic creature.
And you can see the results of that environment right on the screen. When the film was released, the critical reception was just phenomenal.
It was universally praised.
Yeah, the film critics didn't just write it off as some cute gimmick. They praised his authenticity and the profound warmth he brought to the film. He elevated the entire movie from just having a minor canine addition to making the dog a central driving force of the film's narrative.
He really did. He fundamentally redefined the possibilities for four-legged actors in the industry.
The reception proved the director's massive gamble was totally correct. Sparky gained a massive fan base, with many viewers and critics arguing his scenes were the absolute highlight of the movie.
Because his performance broke through the screen, it was rooted in reality.
Exactly. So the film wraps. The circus leaves town. The budget is spent. The crew packs up the lights, and the village goes quiet again.
Back to normal.
Right. And usually when an animal becomes a famous movie star, the story ends there. The village just goes back to normal, maybe with a fun story to tell at the local pub. A sequel gets greenlit, the dog gets a fan base, and that's it.
Which is a nice story on its own.
It is, but Sparky's departure actually created a massive vacuum in this town, which transitions us into the most important part of this deep dive.
Yes, this is where the narrative shifts from a Hollywood fairy tale to a profound sociological movement. But just to touch on the immediate aftermath, there is a personal happy ending first. Sparky did not go back to scavenging on the cobblestones. He was adopted by one of the film's actors, giving him a loving forever home.
It is a beautiful resolution for Sparky personally. But his personal happy ending was just the catalyst for the village. The movie shone a massive, unavoidable spotlight on the struggles of stray animals.
It really opened their eyes.
Suddenly, the entire village, along with all the audiences watching worldwide, was confronted with the reality of what life is like for a dog like Sparky.
What the film did was recontextualize the strays. Before the film, the dogs were just background noise. Pests, even.
Just a nuisance on the street.
Exactly. But the film took one of those pests, framed him with lighting and beautiful music, and showed his deep capacity for love and loyalty. And as that awareness grew, the local community experienced a visceral, emotional reaction.
They saw the potential in all of them.
Yeah. People were so moved by his plight on screen that they started looking at the nameless strays on their own streets differently.
And the shelter saw a massive surge in local adoptions. People were literally opening their homes to other strays, significantly reducing the homeless pet population in the area.
It was an incredible wave of emotional charity.
Emotional charity, yeah, that is the exact right term. People see a moving film, they feel a spike of empathy, and they act on it by adopting a dog.
Right. But the problem with emotional charity is that it is often fleeting. Empathy spikes, and then it fades as daily life takes over again.
And that is exactly what I want to dig into. Because a surge in adoptions is great for the dogs in the shelter that month. But how did the village ensure this wasn't just a passing fad? How do you take a temporary spike in public empathy and forge it into actual long-term infrastructure?
That is the hardest transition for any community to make, moving from emotional charity to institutional empathy.
Institutional empathy.
I like that.
And the village mobilized beautifully to make that leap. They didn't just stop at adopting dogs. They recognized the need for a sustainable support system. They launched specific, long-term initiatives to tackle the root of the problem. We are talking about organizing rigorous fundraising events to financially support the local shelters, which previously had operated on a total shoestring budget.
Exactly. They also ran sustained public awareness campaigns. They organized volunteer-based rescue missions to actively go out, identify, and support more strays.
Wow.
They built a network of care that didn't rely on just one person feeling sad after watching a movie, but on a dedicated community framework.
They institutionalized the empathy. They created a system where the care of these animals was woven into the civic duties of the town.
And, for any listeners wondering how they can start local animal aid projects like this village did.
Yes, what are some simple steps for listeners to begin their own local rescue group?
Well, it's all about starting small. First, you just connect with like-minded neighbors. You don't need a huge budget. Start a local social media group to organize small volunteer missions, like dropping off food or building winter shelters.
It's getting the ball rolling.
Right. And for new pet owners looking to connect, local rescue groups usually host weekend meet and greets. It's a great way to find joy in adopting rescue dogs while also building a community.
And speaking of adopting, what about the actual bonding part? Because it can be intimidating. Do dog trainers have tips on bonding with rescued animals using these concepts we've talked about?
Oh, absolutely. To explain it in simple language suitable for new pet owners,
Yeah.
you want to mirror what that actor did on set. Lower your physical profile. Don't force eye contact immediately if the dog is scared.
Let them come to you.
Exactly. Building trust with a rescued dog creates lifelong happiness, but it takes patience. You just offer a calm presence and let them read your nonverbal cues that they are safe.
It's just amazing how simple advice for potential owners considering adopting a stray dog really boils down to patience and body language.
It really does. But going back to the village, perhaps the most impactful and forward-thinking step they took was what they did within the local education system.
Yes, the school programs.
The school programs are the crown jewel of this transformation. The community leaders recognize that you cannot just focus on the adults who currently have the money to donate or the homes to offer.
Right, because that's just a temporary fix.
Exactly. If you want permanent cultural change, you have to look at the next generation. So they introduced specific educational programs into the local schools to teach children about the importance of animal welfare.
And what does it actually mean to teach animal welfare in a school? I mean, it's not just teaching kids how to pet a dog.
No, not at all.
It's teaching the mechanics of empathy. It's teaching children to recognize sentience in other living beings. It's breaking those generational habits of viewing animals as disposable nuisances.
By integrating that into the curriculum, they embedded Sparky's legacy directly into the fabric of the village's culture. They were fostering empathy at a foundational age.
Which guarantees the future.
Right, ensuring that the next generation would grow up viewing stray animals as beings intrinsically worthy of compassion, care, and respect. You are fundamentally changing the psychological baseline of the entire town.
It is staggering when you zoom out and look at the sheer scale of the change. You have a village where, for decades, dogs used to just scavenge for scraps in the background. Fast forward, and that exact same village is a hub of volunteer rescue missions, robustly funded shelters, and school-wide empathy education.
And Sparky's legacy continues to improve animal welfare in the village today. All because one dog, driven by curiosity, wandered onto a loud, chaotic set, and one actor decided to lower his physical profile and offer a moment of connection.
It's crazy to think about.
It really is a testament to how a single narrative, when captured authentically and shared widely, can break through our daily hardened routines and force us to completely reevaluate our community values.
Absolutely.
The community saw the immense untapped value in Sparky. And human psychology dictates that once you truly see the value in one stray, you cannot unsee it in the others.
The ripple effect is just massive.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about the untapped potential walking around our own neighborhoods.
Oh, for sure.
Not that every stray is a savant movie star waiting for their close-up, but that every creature has a profound capacity for connection if the environment allows for it. So if you're listening, maybe take a look around your own community and see where you can apply a little bit of that empathy.
I love that. And I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought to ponder as we wrap up this analysis. Consider the incredible butterfly effect of empathy.
The butterfly effect, yeah.
Think about the specific mechanical chain of events in this story. A single, simple act of kindness, a busy lead actor, amidst the stress of a multi-million-dollar film shoot, choosing to pause and pet a nervous street dog.
Just a few seconds of his day.
Right. That action didn't just calm the animal down. It didn't just salvage a shooting schedule or create a piece of cinematic magic. That one momentary pause completely re-engineered the moral compass and the civic infrastructure of an entire village for generations to come.
It really is profound. Sparky didn't just wander onto a set and intuitively hit his marks. By the time the camera stopped rolling, he had effectively rewritten the script for everyone living outside the theater, too. That was all, dear listeners, and if you want stories like this one, you should get it from the awesome award-winning dog publication called Doggozilla Magazine, as we usually go there and get inspired by their articles, or as we say before we go to their magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready for some doggy delight? That was all, dear listeners, and if you want stories like this one, you should get it from the awesome award-winning dog publication called Doggozilla Magazine, as we usually go there and get inspired by their articles, or as we say before we go to their magazine. If you are, type doggozilla.com and you are there.